I have given you the correct spelling of the date on the screen. Himagnetica flighty. Akas with the V. Pokoli tuklu akocha tasapi. Tasapi. Tasipa. Sipokni tuklu akocha awa on tuklu. We do not have the TH sound in Choctaw. I know it's becoming more popular to use the TH, but the way I teach it is how I want you to learn it, because that sound, I don't want to ever see it lost in our speaking. The aspirated L, tasapi. I will not accept the TH sound as you write it. And as you speak it, as you write it, I want you to be speaking that aspirated L sound. I'm depending on you as my students to keep this sound alive, because many of our speakers don't use it anymore for whatever reason they have to not use it. I would like to hear the taslapi. I want to see it written, the HL or the LH. LH comes before consonant sounds. The HL comes before vowel sounds. Taslapi, taslipa, HL, HLA, HLE. Huliso Holtina, taslipa, I'm sorry. Huliso Holtina, Pokoli taslapi, akucha chakali kipisa. Okay, the object of a verb, the object of a verb in the affected role. In Chapter 5, we saw that in English, one set of pronouns marks the subject of a verb, no matter what role that subject plays. However, in Choctaw, we are concerned with the role the subject plays. We've learned a set of person markers that denote subjects that are also agents in Choctaw. In English, another set of pronouns marks the object of a verb. Again, in Choctaw, we're concerned with the role that's marked by the person markers. We are learning a new set of person markers that denote the affected role. The affected role often corresponds with the object of a verb, direct object. In the following English sentences, notice that the direct object of the verb is also affected by the verb. The set of English object pronouns marks the grammatical role of the object, and this role is most often an affected object. And there are 3 examples to show you that pronouns are also also be direct objects: me, us, and them. The Choctaw affected object. The affected object also receives the action of the verb. A direct object in Choctaw usually has the affected role, just as in English. A direct object in Choctaw usually has the affected role, just as in English. A new set of person markers tells the listener that the person is not the agent of an action, but affected by the action. Nana stoka ya pia hochi tuk. Nani kanachi ya siya pila. Pihlichi ya chihanglo tukun. We'll come back to these examples, but first let's look on page 61 at the top of the page. The affected person marker appears directly before the verb. Looking back on the 3 examples, you can see that happening. In the first one, piahochi. Piahochi. Example B, siapila. Siapila, helping me. C, chihanklo. Chihanklo, hear you. In the first one, piahochi, found us. Now going back to the second line, when both an agent marker and an affected marker appear, and I want to clarify this, appear in the same sentence. Not that they're just going to appear somewhere, but when both an agent marker and an affected marker appear in the same sentence, the agent marker comes first, followed by the affected marker. We're talking about pronouns now. Third person objects, like third person subjects, are understood. And we saw that in the agents. The agent, third person, singular or plural, is understood. And also in the affected persons, person markers, the third persons are understood. Following that is, it says si, meaning me, is used when the verb following it begins with any value of A or O, short, long, or nasal. Sa is used with every other verb and may be spelled SV. I use the SV because it is a short sound. We don't have the sa, it's sa. So I use the SV, not the A. Okay, let's look at the examples following. Alikjiat siapila. Notice the placement of si before the verb. Alikjiat siapila. Help me, or helping me. Siapila. Example B. Sapuknakniat chipinsatuk. Sapuknakniat chipinsatuk. Alatikat hachihoyo. You've seen me write this with the V because it is a short sound. Where I feel like it needs to be a short sound, I will write it that, because a lot of times people who don't understand the language might call this hash or hashy, hatchy. So I want to clarify that these are short sounds. So I use the letter V, hachi. Allah tikat hachihoyo. Allah tikat hachihoyo. Example B says chihanklule. Chihanklule. D, e chompatuk. E chompatuk. F, hush, and there's that hash again. People want to call it hash. That's why I use the letter V to show you it has a short sound. Hush. Hush. Hapiapila. Okay, let's look back at the paragraph at the top of the page where it says, when both an agent marker and an affected marker appear in the same sentence, the agent marker comes first, followed by the affected marker. Well, just as there are rules, there are exceptions to the rule. The exception is that when you use li, first person agent marker, the word order is going to change. And you see that in example D. Chihanklule. Chihanklule. We might begin by understanding hunklule. Hunklule. I hear. I hear hunklule, because the agent is going to be doing the action of the verb. And we know that li is the marker that's going to follow the verb. So this is why this is an exception to that rule that says when both an agent marker and an affected marker appear in the same sentence, the agent marker comes first, followed by the affected marker. In this case, li is always going to follow the verb, so that puts the objective marker in the beginning, at the beginning of the sentence. In example E, goes back to where it says third person objects, like third person subjects, are understood. E chompatuk. E chompatuk. Where the item is not named, it can be understood as it. We bought it. E chompatuk. a lot of times when pronouns are used in Choctaw, it's very much like how it's used in English. For instance, something that might precede this sentence, Anumpa Ikhʋnapisa. Anumpa Ikhʋnapisa. We saw a table. Anumpa Ikhʋnapisa. So it shows you what the direct object is. We saw a table. And then following it might be this term, Ikhʋnapisa. We bought it. So when a third person when a third person is needed, there is something preceding it that has established what that it is. But when you only see a sentence, like you see an example, it's understood which third person that is making reference to. And where you don't have anything to refer to, just pick one. Ikhʋnapisa, we bought it, or we bought them. You might have seen a pair of shoes and have to use the plural marker. And since there is no plural marker, it's understood whether it's going to be singular or plural. We bought them, we bought it. In example F, hush, HVSH, follows the rule that says when both an agent marker and an affected marker appear in the same sentence, the agent marker comes first, followed by the affected marker. This is where you see this rule happening in this example. Hush, hapiapilatok. Hush is the agent marker, hapi is the affected marker. Two short sentences. Pilashash ankiet hachipinsatuk. Pilashash ankiet hachipinsatuk. Imaknatak nanastuka tuklo yat piapilatuk. I've not got everyone's work in, but if you will mark your page for page 61, in the middle of the page where it says when ish or hush appears before sa or si. We're going to take a look at that when we come back on Monday. Going over the assignment. Pilashash ankiet hachipinsatuk. Pilashash ankiet hachipinsatuk. Anki is father or my dad, however you want to use this. Hachi, you all or all of you, or simply you. Hachi is you in English because you is singular or plural. Pinsatuk, saw. Hachi pinsatuk, saw you. Pilashash is yesterday. Yesterday, father saw you. Yesterday, my father saw you. Yesterday, my dad saw you. If you want to put yesterday at the end of the sentence, father saw you yesterday. My father saw you yesterday is also correct. Number 2, imaknitak nanastuka tuklo. Tuklo yet piapilatuk. Today, himaknitak nanastuka tuklo. 2 officers, 2 policemen, 2 police officers, however you want to use that. Nanastuka tuklo yet piapilatuk, helped us. Piapilatuk, helped us. Today, 2 police officers helped us. Today, 2 policemen helped us. And the last one I see, it says, my father saw y'all yesterday. I would prefer is to use you. I know this is what it means, but I prefer the formality a little bit more because you might come across people who don't understand y'all but they might understand you in the plural. And the second one says, two helped us today. The word for police officer is nanaftuka. Nanaftuka tuklo. Two police officers.